Welcome to the Fantasy Think. I'm Jared, and it is time for my August 2025 update. And so, I read a lot in July, and let's get right into it. What books did I finish in July? I finished Rindy by Neil Stevenson. And we read this as part of the Speculative Speculation podcast, where we read so many pages per week and we talk about it immediately afterwards. And it's a wonderful experience for a book that none of us really liked that much. Yeah, I was not quite happy with this book. Didn't like the structure. Didn't like the characterizations. Thought the situations were kind of ridiculous for the setting that we were in. It actually wasn't sci-fi at all. It was kind of more like computer spy thriller. So, say levy, win some, lose some. Probably the worst book I read this year, but we had a good time talking about it, and so it was fun for that reason. All right, but on to better things. I also finished While Darkness Gathers by Philip Chase, and this was the follow up to his uh, excellent Edan trilogy, and like I just jumped right back into this world, and I was there, and I was loving it, and I love the situation. I love the consequences of the results of the end of the trilogy being brought out so well by Dr. Chase, and so I just had a blast with this book. This is like the book that I finished was my read of the month, I guess you could say. Um, if you go for that kind of thing. So Wild Darkness Gals by Philip Chase. Check out my review on it. I did a non-spoiler review, so you'll be able to take a look at that. So, what else did I finish? I finished after like 2 years. Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb, the Farseer trilogy, book one. And this was a long journey because I was reading it along with the comics book releases monthly of the adaptation of Assassin's Apprentice, which was fully, you know, under the auspices of Robin Hobb, and it shows this adaptation was excellent. And I was reading this and then the corresponding sections in the book, so I feel like I kind of read the book twice because this adaptation was so good. It really, really got everything that was in here. Trust me, I know. I went through the whole thing side by side, and it really did the trick. So if you like comics, then you like fantasy, then get yourself the adaptation of Assassin's Apprentice, and you will get the full, effect of the story with beautiful artwork, just gorgeous artwork. Um, and yeah, so check that out. Anyways, I also finished The Time Machine by H.G. Wells. This was a classic sci-fi, part of the Sci-Fi Masterworks series, written way back in 1894 or five, and The Time Machine is still around for a reason. It's really good. It's short. It's easy to read, but it's also very deep in its concepts and its themes for the time. It was written, and even today, really, it stands up very well compared to a lot of works back then. And not much you can say about that for other stuff. So we read this as part of our sci-fi masterwork. Read along on page chewing. So yeah, check out The Time Machine. It's pretty good stuff. All right. I have also finished Self Pub, another Self Pub book. So that's finishing two in 1 month. Anyways, this is Mercy Tears of the Fallen by Chance Dillon from the YouTube channel, Chance Dillon. And he was so kind to send me an advanced reader copy, advanced review copy, I guess. And so this world was very well put together, Kind of reminded me of a very well put together, like, a video game or role playing game. I think he mentions the Elden Ring on the back of this, and I think that's very apt, actually, because it actually had that kind of a feel to it. A lot of action, a lot of a lot of character court intrigue, political intrigue, so to speak, and some dark things happen. And this is not a this is it's pretty grim. So be prepared for that. And yeah, it was pretty good. I mean, the book had some flaws, but overall, it's a pretty good read, pretty good fantasy. If you are a fan of like the Elden Ring type stuff, I would definitely pick that up. So that's all the things I finished. All the books I have finished in July. So what am I currently reading right now? Um, in the Speculative Speculation podcast, we have moved on to a memory called Empire by Arcady Martin. Okay, and I am over halfway through this book, and I am enjoying it thoroughly. It is a just a lovely space opera, which has some really cool um, setup on this Empire world through this ambassador, and you're seeing this world through the ambassador's eyes, and but it's not first person, but it is all through her point of view. So it's very engaging, very uh the plot is very tight, um and the mystery and wonder of discovering this universe is pretty cool. I'm enjoying that book a lot so far, and I am in the middle of Song of the Mysteries by Janie Wirtz. Yes, book 11 of the Wars of Light and Shadow, the final book. Wow. I'm 6 chapters in now, and I'm enjoying it, and I am so ecstatic having gotten this far, uh, and I'm very proud of my read along, because we've stuck with it. We stuck together. We've in the four of us, and we've read this whole series in under, it'll be close to 3 years, I think, um, and that's pretty good. I think that's a quite the achievement. So congrats to those guys, and a little pat on my own back there. This is good stuff. This is up my alley. This is peak high fantasy, and it doesn't get much better than that. So, Song of the Mysteries, Janie Words, I'm in the middle of now. So those are active reads. All right. What other stuff did I finish off in July? All right. I read another short story out of Tales Before Tolkien, The Roots of Modern Fantasy. And what was it that I read? All right. The Woman of the Wood by A. Merritt. And this was first published in Weird Tales in 1926. And this was interesting. It's about this guy who goes into the woods. He gets entranced kind of by by a tree, basically, by yet like that manifests as a human, like a kind of like a dryad, if you're familiar with those terms from like the D&D days. But and he he goes back. He gets in. He's like fascinated by these creatures. They say, "Help me," because they're getting chopped down and burned down by this particular logging operation, what have you. And the people who run this operation, they're they're telling him, "What are you, crazy? These are evil witches and stuff like that. We got to get rid of them." So there's a little back and forth there, a little environmental theme, and it was a pretty interesting story, about a 15-page short story. So I enjoyed it. Very very cool stuff. So I still got I think three stories left in this collection, Tale Before Tolkien, The Roots Modern fantasy. All righty. I also read, yes, a couple more stories out of the Big Book of Science Fiction for the Speculation podcast, and I read a story by Ursula Le Guin in there that was pretty cool, kind of tied in with her universe there with the dispossessed and Left Hand of Darkness and stuff. And also a short story by Robert Silverberg, which was about the new robot Pope, which was hilarious. It was a really cool short story. And so I enjoyed. I've enjoyed a lot of those stories out of the Big Book of Science Fiction, and excellent collection. All right, so I also read another myth, another folk tale out of Chinese myths and folk tale. This beautiful Barnes and Noble bound up collection here. And so this was another story of it's called Little Chu, and it's yet another story of like demons being driven out of a home, and the dead kind of coming back and existing again. So it's kind of funny how that just keeps popping up in these stories, and it's like, and I think maybe I mean, it's in this section called "Strange Stories from a Chinese Studio," so they definitely had a theme going on here, and this was like a little 5-page story here, and it was cool. It was interesting. The the dead coming back and living with their ancestors, coming back and living with their relations seems to be, like I said, a common theme, but they also seem to have this power to recognize and drive out devils that might be um, harassing the family as well. So fun stuff, Chinese myths and folk tales. Okay, so I also read another tale out of Reeve the Just and Other Tales by Stephen Donaldson. This was a fantastic tale called What Makes Us Human. It was a sci-fi tale. We had a discussion on it on my short fiction side hustle series. And another outstanding story from Mr. Donaldson. Just like I said, probably my favorite collection of short stories. It's really, really good stuff. I also read a short story from P.L. Stewart out of this collection, this anthology called Shapers of Worlds, Volume 5, and it is called Forest Dark. This tale by P.L. Stewart. It is a short story that takes place within the world of his Drowned Kingdom saga. And so that was exciting for me because I really love that series. And I just really enjoy. I thought it was a very solid short story. It takes place in that world, so you think it's fantasy, but it does border on horror as well. So pretty cool stuff. And it had to deal with the nature of fear and what people are afraid of, and how that manifests, in that kind of a world. So very cool stuff from P.L. Stewart. I hope to be. I'm going to continue on reading short stories out of this Shapers of Worlds, Volume 5, on a monthly basis, and hopefully we discover some other cool stuff out of it. But thank you, PL, for, giving me that and reading that, give me that story to read. And it's just outstanding. Really good story. All right. So I think I am all caught up in oh no, I am not. I also read yeah. I also read a story called The Circular Ruins by Jorge Luis Borges. And this is only a 5-page short story. But let me tell you, this Borges guy, he is a fantastic writer, and he really knows his stuff. And we had a discussion about this with on Olivia Elliott's podcast, Books Undone. So I'm not sure when that's going to be out, but it was a really, really great story. It's another short story there. And all right, so let's. As far as comics go, like once again, I read a whole bunch of comics. I do every month. If you want to hear about my comics reading, please check out the Weekly Pulls podcast. You can find it on the Page Chewing forums, but you can also probably find it on one of those podcast sites. And Weekly Pulls. So I discuss all the comics I read there, including Assassin's Apprentice, which I discussed on there. But Conan, stuff like that. So I also read another issue of Free Inquiry magazine, a journal of secular humanist ideas, and there was a really cool history article in here about this person in France who he was a Freemason, and there was an obsession with the Catholic Church at the time, and this is late 19th century, and he was a Freemason, and there's an obsession with the Catholic Church that the Freemasons were up to something devilish, and so he anonymously was printing these pamphlets that were anti-Catholic at the time, and he was doing it anonymously because he didn't want to be called out and maybe decried a heretic or whatever, and who knows, burned at the stake or something. And so that was going on, but then somebody found him out, and he publicly disavowed himself from the Freemasons and got himself rebaptized into the Catholic Church. And then he started publishing these anti-Freemasonry publications, and he was calling the Freemasons these cult of the devil and stuff like that. And there was like the devil in the 19th century, and all these anti-Freemasonry pamphlets, and he had proof in quotes that these guys were worshiping the devil, and he convinced this woman to pose as somebody named Diana Vaughn, who was a victim of the Freemasons, and she confessed all this stuff that happened to her, took a photograph and everything, and then when they called him out on that, to bring because people wanted to interview her and stuff, and he never let them see her. And eventually some of the reporters were saying he was fake and all this stuff, and he called a press conference and said, "Hey, I'm gonna lay it all on the line right here." He calls a press conference and he says, "You guys are right. It's all fake." And everybody gets mad at him and stuff like that. And then the Catholic Church disavows him, so he's been disavowed again. It was just pretty wild. This guy, he had some balls. I gotta tell you that. He's pretty chaotic dude. Just wanted to stir up trouble, I guess. But it was just a fascinating little history thing. So check it out. This issue of Free Inquiry, if you're interested, is the August-September 2025 issue. And I also read this magazine here, this New Criterion, and it was a magazine. It's a monthly review of the world of arts and letters and stuff like that. And I saw this and I was like, my wife got it for me for our anniversary present, just a subscription, because I was just like, yeah, I'll check it out, having no idea what I was getting into, to be honest with you. So I was going through some of the articles in here, and they had the articles they had like an article in here on the best one that I read was on Beethoven's last 3 sonatas, opuses for piano and violin, I believe. And he breaks them down, he analyzes them, and very deep, very specific. And so, some of the stuff went over my head, but there was a few other things they were talking about. Paintings. There was a dissertation basically of a painting and critical analysis of it and some other stuff. And I found myself actually nodding off on a lot of stuff and like, okay, got a little boring, to be honest with you. And then there was some opinion columns, and it was then I realized that this magazine kind of might not be my thing. Yeah, kind of wish I would have gotten a subscription to like a sword and sorcery magazine instead. So I don't know. I'll try the next issue and see how it goes. Not really my thing though. Free inquiry, yes, that's my thing. New Criterion, mm. But can't everything can't be a winner, right? All right. Let's see here. I think now that's everything that I read. A couple of things that I am going to be reading in the upcoming month, and I'm kind of excited about. We're going to be reading The Cave by Jose Saramago, and this is awesome because it's based on Plato's The Cave. Um, the concept, the philosophical concept, and so that's pretty cool. I really like it. That the concept here. So I should be starting that actually sometime tomorrow. And we're also going to be reading the next sci-fi masterwork is H.G. Wells again, The War of the Worlds. And so I'm kind of looking forward to that as well because I've enjoyed Wells's writing so far, both in the Time Machine and in some short stories we read previously. And so I think that's everything. Yeah. All right. So that's August. The August update. Hope you enjoyed the turtle that I didn't speak about earlier that I should have. That I'm going to put in there. And we have yeah, a lot of stuff, a lot of great stuff coming up to read. So let me know what you've read in the month of July. Let me know your likes, dislikes, and be good to each other as always. Thank you.